So there was this weird announcement. Well, I guess maybe taking a step back, like there's been a bunch of attacks on Microsoft 365 over the years, and customers have the ability to audit their environments, but only automate their environments to the degree that they've licensed for audit capabilities. So things like turning on your M365 audit log is all good. What if you need to retain that data for several years for regulatory compliance reasons, right? Like, well, I got to spin up an extra thing. I potentially have to egress that data out. Does Microsoft give me an egress mechanism for that data? Where else can I store it? Is that place I store it secure? So there's like all those kinds of issues. And then in general, there's just been the like, hey, if I spin up an M365 tenant, what do I get access to with, a bare bones E license versus an E3 versus an E5? Do I need to go and pick up some of the security SKUs to get those additional monitoring capabilities, even being able to like query the audit log in different ways? So it's generally been a mess. Paying for additional security like that is a little bit weird if you think about it, because you could go in at any time and do something like turn on the audit log and all your logs were already there. So Microsoft was already storing them. They already had them ready to go. They were available. You just weren't querying them. So they were kind of back to that thing we've talked about in the past. It's just cold data. Cold data is a lot cheaper to store than active and hot data. So I'm sure that was part of the calculation. And then, you came in, you said, okay, I want the ability to query this particular data source, and you'd start getting charged money for it. Most people didn't understand that complexity. I think licensing in general in Microsoft land has been difficult. That hasn't changed as we've gone to M365, O365, and SaaS-based workloads. And because licensing was difficult and you didn't understand what you got, some people just didn't know. Or if you did know what was there, but you couldn't justify the expense, you were potentially putting yourself into a place where you're just leaving holes open, and you're kind of purposefully doing that. So with all these attacks that we've had in M365 over the years, there's been things like account takeovers. Phishing is still very prevalent. There's been 0 days for like token takeover and acquisition within Azure Active Directory / Microsoft Entra ID, all those kinds of things. And this becomes problematic for all these organizations that, they don't know it exists, or they do know it exists and they don't want to pay for it. And the government kind of got involved in the U.S. So in the government, in the U.S. government, we have an organization called CISA. It's the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. It's basically the United States Cyber Defense Agency, right? Like that's their remit and what they exist to do. So they've been around helping a bunch of government organizations when they get into situations where they're maybe affected by some of these CV 0 days, things like that, remediate it, make sure they're all set up and ready to go. Sounds like they've been having conversations with Microsoft in the background, like, hey, you are purposely leaving your customers in a position where they don't have the ability to protect themselves to the degree they should. And they had this really interesting announcement. So they came out and said, CISA and Microsoft partnership expands access to logging capabilities broadly. So I found it funny that I found this on CISA first before Microsoft. Like their announcement kind of came out first, the way I saw it. And it's basically an agreement between CISA and Microsoft where more customers in the O365, M365 SaaS space are going to have access to those expanded logging capabilities for no additional charge. So everybody kind of gets the ability to have enhanced incident response. You get access to all those logging capabilities and everything that were there before. So it sounds like CISA has been talking to somebody at Microsoft for a while, and they're all kind of happy-go-lucky and ready to go. So I really consider this like nothing but good stuff. I get why Microsoft charged for access to logs, but just understanding like why they do it doesn't always make it the right thing to do. So this feels more like, hey, this is the right thing to do given the current state of the world and how these workloads are positioned.
Right. Although it doesn't give, so it's like they're increasing the standards, but you're not getting all the way up to that premium level. It sounds like. So if you go dig through the Microsoft one, by default, everyone gets this Microsoft Purview Audit Standard, which is included in like your E3s, your business premiums, essentially everything but the E5s. And previously, retention periods for that were 90 days. Now it sounds like it's going up to 180 days with this new partnership. And it's also granting you access to 30 other types of log data that was only available at the audit premium level. But it doesn't sound like it's quite the full level that you still get with premium. And so they're kind of expanding standard, but they're not mashing standard and premium together. You still have that option to go get an E5 license or go get like the compliance E5 that gives you audit premium. That'll give you access to even more stuff. And it also increases that retention, I believe, up to a year of logs or even longer. And then I think you can actually pay to keep them up to 10 years. So there are still two levels. There's still standard, there's still premium. It's just that there must be some key metrics or key data that was in that standard or wasn't in standard that was in premium that they kind of agreed to open up now to that standard level. And I like the longer data retention too, from 90 days to 180 days. I think that makes a big difference. I was just on some calls too where we were talking through some of this, and the other thing is some of these people will be in there for a long time. 90 days is not as much audit data as it sounds like. So going back 180 days is good. Going back 365 days is even better. Throwing all of this data into some sort of SIM to be able to query it and go through all of it is the ideal. But obviously, as you go up, it is still going to cost more money.
Yeah. But I think having access to more at the lower end, like it's a democratization thing, it generally nothing but goodness there.
Yeah.